well, I would argue anything more than 4 hours is getting into the sketchy territory of being productive. What's the longest conversation you've had ever just sitting down, you reckon?
Well, if we're talking shit, like I'm thinking amongst friends, probably around the 4 hour mark, 5 hour mark. I'm just thinking, like, even some of the times in Mexico, like there would have been times where I sat down and talked to absolute shit with Joey and you or other people for hours, like just absolute hours. It would have just been like crap.
What about like a serious conversation?
Dang. I wouldn't say it would have gone over maybe like a really long meeting. So it'd be like a 2 hour meeting or something like that with like going through a lot of things. Maybe, let's say 2 hours. Yeah. That'd be the upper end.
Yeah. Yeah. After 3.5 hours of being with Jace, that was when I started to feel, like I'm starting to, I wasn't weary. And maybe if I did have a stimulant of some sort, like a Red Bull or I don't
crack
know.
it in and just go. Yeah, there might have been
I could have probably, or maybe even
opened up,
or maybe even a couple of like drinks or something can just change the vibe a little bit. Just did a little bit of stretching.
Well,
or something,
what makes me think of like Joe Rogan has like continuous 3 hour like conversations on like I'm assuming he's having one of them like every 2 days, like basically every 2 days having that. I'm like
some of them because I've listened to some episodes where he's like, no, what's his name just left. So there's definitely been days where he's done back-to-back.
See, that's crazy. That would be like... So
that'd be like 6 hours.
That is work.
Yeah.
That is some serious work.
That's
like, can you imagine
work.
going through, 3 hours talking to Michael Phelps, and then, I don't know, Stephen Fry or like someone from his physics backgrounds come in, and you're like, you just talk for 3 hours, and now you got to talk like physics and science. And like at the 5th hour, you'd be like, "Oh man!"
I wonder how he does it. I mean, if it was me, I'd definitely do like hard thinking one first, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or and then someone like a little bit more fun where he can light up a joint and
he said
have some drinks.
That I think he was saying when he does a podcast, because he said this recently, when he does a podcast, he will generally not eat in the morning. Like he'll work out, he'll work out. He might have like a very small snack, usually like a protein-based thing, but then that from then on will just be fasting all the way through podcasts and then eat later in the night. So I guess using that fasting, to help him be focused, perhaps. So that's sort of the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
Although, that's not exactly what he does. So I don't think he said it exactly, but that's the general trend of what he was sort of suggesting. So I was like,
for sure.
So maybe you need to do that. Maybe you'd have to be, personally, if I was going to do like say back-to-back 3 hour sessions, I would probably say for myself in the preparation, I'd have maybe like beef jerky or something like that throughout the session, and then have a coffee or like a Red Bull or something to like power me through. Yeah. But if it was really engaging, I reckon I could go for a long time. Like I'm just imagining when we were in Japan, we were having some chicken at this beautiful restaurant in, do you remember Asakusa?
Asakusa.
And I remember talking to you guys about business, just sitting there, and I was like ham for like 40 minutes. I was just like, like just nonstop.
Nothing came of that.
And nothing came of that, but it was like, for 40 minutes, I just felt like it just went like the blink of an eye, but it would have been like ages from you just talking, just like spewing bullshit. So, yeah.